And we would like to make it more interactive because we don't really have much time. Maybe only 20 minutes or so. But we would still like to read a little bit from Bhagavad Gita, which is the major yoga scripture coming from India, most popular one. And I hope all of you at least heard of Bhagavad Gita, and probably many have read Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who never heard of Bhagavad Gita in here, please raise your hand. Okay, everyone's familiar with it. And before we read Bhagavad Gita, traditionally we chant mantras glorifying Guru, Vaishnava's saintly personality, and the Supreme Lord. So those of you who are familiar with those mantras, you can chant alone. Om Gyanti Mirannasya Ginandana Salukaya Chaksharam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadam Mayam Danati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpataravyaschа Kripa Sindhubheva-cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasani Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bhutai Mahatprema, Provibur, Nirmaya Kshiti Yadamusha Purusha, Bhumte Ganam, Sunasa Sadasatmaka, Yalam Krishishta Mangabham, Vacham Sime. So, the following mantra is invocational mantra for reading Vedic scriptures. And we can chant it responsively. It's only 4 words. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we'll read one text from the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And this chapter is in Sanskrit, entitled Vishwarup Darshan Yoga. And it's kind of not very philosophical chapter. Most of the Bhagavad Gita is quite philosophical. But in this chapter, Krishna shows Arjuna universal form. But it has its purpose. It's very interesting that one of the personal development specialists in business field, he said, in the same way as Arjuna had preview of what will be happening with him in the future, for any of us it's really important to have a preview of where we want to go and what we want to do. And be a visionary leader. That's really important for the modern world. And this verse 33 is pretty powerful. And before I read it, I wanted you to do a little meditation. If you are familiar with Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, you probably know that he is saying that this knowledge is not only meant for Arjuna, but it's meant for all of us. So Bhagavad Gita is fully applicable. And when we'll read the translation, I want you to apply that to your own selves imagine that Krishna is speaking to you directly and just see what kind of thoughts that will generate. And then we'll read Srila Prabhupada's purport. So this is the Sanskrit of the verse. Tasmat tvamutishta yasholabhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajam samridham mayavatani hatta purvameva nimittamatram bhavasavya sachin. Translation. Therefore, get up. Prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Purport. Savyasachin refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Well, literal meaning of the word Savyasachin is one who can use his both hands equally good. So Arjuna could shoot from right or left hand. So he was the only one who had that level of mastery at the time. Just become an instrument. Nimitta matram, this word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that, but there is no question of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. As long as they have the domineering mentality which makes them try to lord it over material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation are under the superior guidance of God. Thus the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. So we'll read translation one more time, and then maybe some of you could share your reflections. If these words of the Supreme Lord are addressed to you directly, how they make you feel. Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. All right, so anyone would like to share? Please.
Well, I feel like to be an instrument in the fight is just to be a messenger of good, right? To be spreading love and light, and the fight is against, I guess, indifference and a society that's very indifferent to everything. So how can we put passion and intention in what we manifest and what we do? That's what I feel like.
Very good, thank you. And your name is?
My name is Joshua.
Shastra.
Joshua.
Shashwa.
Yeah, you can, Joshua. Yeah.
Thank you. Nice name.
I think when the Bhagavad Gita refers to us as instruments, I think it implies like we can't take our human bodies for granted, and also we can use our human bodies, like it goes back to not identifying with the body necessarily, and we can use our bodies to help civilization. You know, we can use this body, this form, as a tool, literally an instrument.
Mhm.
Rather than thinking that we are the body, we identify, we use this body as a tool.
Mhm. Yeah, acting not for ourselves, but for the service of the Lord, for everyone's good. Thank you. Yes.
It made me feel fearless. Like if Krishna's telling me this directly, it made me feel like I can accomplish anything if I put my trust in his words, right? Like I just felt like I pictured him telling me that directly. Like I felt like I could do anything.
Okay, very empowering.
Very empowering.
Very good, thank you.
I'd like to add on to that, yeah. It does give you empowerment. Like if you're feeling like in the dark about whatever you're going against, if it's against the status quo, whatever you're feeling, just like that message just sort of makes you feel like just go trust your gut. Like even though if it might not look like it's right at the end, it's for the greater good. Your message will be shown. So I just sort of feel like it's like empowering more.
Empowering. Okay, how many of you felt the same way, that if these words would be addressed towards yourself, you would feel very empowered? Very good. But the matter of fact is that Krishna is telling you directly. Because, you are living in the most powerful country on the planet, and you are living in one of the, I would probably never exaggerate if I would say, in the most progressive state in America, California. California always blows my mind by how spiritual it is. And you have your youth, you have your enthusiasm, and so, yes, Krishna wants you to be empowered. Krishna wants you to act within his mission and do something serious, not for yourself, but for the world. And you have the capacity. Because you are spiritual being, infinite, immortal, full of knowledge and full of happiness. And if we act for the Lord's pleasure, we can manifest those qualities. We can overcome all the limitations imposed by the conditions of this world. Good. Yes.
In that passage, when it talks about enemies, do you think that's external enemies in the human form, or do you think those are like enemies in our mind, like conditioned, like as you were saying, like when it refers to enemies?
Actually both, because the original struggle is with ignorance and illusions, and we can be affected by those, and other people can be affected by those. And of course, unless we are in the position similar to Arjuna's position, which is warrior, right, military man, and in that position you have to fight with the enemies. Some people think that spirituality should be totally devoid of violence, but violence is necessary, evil, in the society. Because just imagine, we may have different attitude towards police, but can we imagine life in LA without any police whatsoever? It would be hell on earth, right? So yes, because these people, they use violence, that's why everybody else can live in peace. So for some people, that's their direct duty, to use violence against evil to enable others to live peacefully. And so, but for most of us, this is a different fight, fighting with ignorance and illusion, and primarily helping people to understand how can they resolve their problems by knowledge and spiritual guidance. And for that, of course, we would have to work on ourselves as well, because it says that example is not one way to teach, it's the only way to teach. Please.
I was just going to say that I really resonated with what you just said, in that we can't only learn by example. For example, my friend showed me this place, and by example I came here, and now I tell everyone that I know about Krishna and about coming to peace with yourself and who you are. And I feel like our only obligation to ourselves is to follow our destiny and spread love.
That's great. You're born Bhakti Yogi. Because it is true that the greatest solution against all evil is pure love. And this is what the Supreme Lord has towards us. And this is what we are meant to have towards Him. And why people have so many problems, because they are lacking love in their life. And so yes, we are meant to fight with all evil with the greatest weapon of divine love. All right, let's see if there are any comments, questions, complaints, suggestions. You're welcome, yes.
I'm sorry, I've seen that stuff many times, but I have no idea what it's for. Would you mind explaining the significance of the staff?
Oh, significance of the staff. It's used by sannyasi, monks. That's the final stage of renunciation from this world. And it signifies three things: body, mind, and words, used in the service of the Supreme Lord. It's also explained that it actually is a spiritual weapon to dispel the forces of illusion. So that's an aid in the life of a renunciate. And yeah, it's a symbol of spiritual discipline. First of all, renunciate has to be reminded himself that the path of spirituality has to be straightforward and going upwards without wavering. All right. Anyone else would like to hear about any topics of bhakti? We could say, of course, a few more words. How many of you haven't read Bhagavad Gita yet? Please raise your hands if you haven't read it. Oh, everyone's read Bhagavad Gita. That's amazing.
I haven't read it, but I heard it on audiobook.
Okay, well, that's also good enough. So yeah, Bhagavad Gita is extremely practical, and it's kind of amazing that people picking up, professional people picking up more and more on this. And I'm looking at Bhagavad Gita from my professional standpoint, because my specialty is mediation and conflict resolution. And so Bhagavad Gita is the greatest book, the ultimate book for conflict resolution, because it helps to resolve the inner conflict. And you can see how it develops that Arjunas have to fight the greatest battle in the history of the planet, and then he's facing this internal conflict within himself. And so this is the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita, how to live without any conflict within the world, which is full of conflicts. And the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita tells us we have to realize who we actually are. We're not the body, but we are spiritual beings. And believe in yourself. It actually comes even before believing in God. And the third chapter explains that there is a universal principle behind any success in life, and that is sacrifice. Sacrificing our personal interests for the sake of serving the Lord. And Krishna says that this principle actually runs the universe. There is literally a cycle of sacrifices in the whole universe. Evam pravartita chakram nano vartayati haya. Chakra means circle or cycle. And then chapter 4 explains that if we want to successfully act in the spirit of sacrifice, we need to understand our nature, and not speaking about material nature, but spiritual nature, but actually speaking about material nature. That, the body we received has certain capacity, has certain nature, and if we understand that nature and we act according to that nature, we can achieve great success in life, and then we can dedicate it in the service of the Supreme Lord. So being ourselves is really important, according to Bhagavad Gita. And then chapter 5 helps us to understand that the first thing which we have to focus on is to understand what is true renunciation, which is not giving up anything, but actually using everything in the service of the Supreme Lord. And in this way we can purify our consciousness from all the dualities of this world, such as lust and anger. And the 6th chapter is explaining how we can connect to the Supreme Lord within our hearts by conquering the influence of the mind. And from that point onward, we can start developing our direct relationship with Him. And so, Bhagavad Gita is really powerful. And it's really good not only to study, but to apply it practically in your life. And success is guaranteed in all fields, both so-called material success and spiritual success. Everything is available through following the teachings of Gita. That's why, it attracts the minds of the greatest thinkers in the history of the world for thousands of years. Yes?
Oh, I had a question.
Sure.
What are some practical techniques that we could apply to remind ourselves that we're not this body? Because as we endeavor on this path, we're constantly dragged down to the bodily conception on a day-to-day basis. So I wanted to see if you had any practical tips
Sure.
that we could apply.
Yeah. The principles are universal, and we can learn them from anyone. Like great Brahmana Chanakya Pandit says that we can pick up the gold even if it is lying in a filthy place. We can listen to a wise man regardless of his birth or background, etc. So, and we can get the nectar even from poison, if we are intelligent enough. And so yes, if we understand the essence of everything, we can see that, we can learn from everyone. And myself, I'm specializing in interfaith, and I'm learning a lot from different traditions, from different spiritual leaders, because they're all connected to the same God. It doesn't matter which dress or which scripture, the essence is the same. And one of my favorite spiritual leaders is Michael Beckwith in here in LA, Agape Church. And probably some of you know or even visited Agape. And they have amazing approach to activate people's spiritual potential, wake up the soul within. And one way they do it is by welcoming each other on a spiritual level. How many of you know how they do it? How many of you would like to know? And how many of you would like to experience that firsthand? Okay, good. Then you can welcome each other. You can sit facing each other, and all you have to do is to repeat few words after me, but addressing each other. And then I can guarantee that something wonderful will happen. Okay, everyone's ready? Please sit facing each other. So it's Veda Yoga Studio, or what do we call it? Okay, Mantra House. So look at each other. You can even smile if you want. There is no prohibition. And tell each other, "Welcome to Mantra House." I recognize you. I see who you truly are. You are the spiritual image in the very likeness of God. A unique emanation of beauty, love, and divine intelligence. Indeed, you are one of a kind, wonderful, one of a kind, magnificent, brilliant, unfolding genius. And today, we'll get to celebrate your very existence. We're celebrating your infinite potential. We appreciate you. And we thank God for you. Welcome to Mantra House. Haribo. All right, that was about it.
That was really good.
I can feel that, energy level really went up in here. So there are many ways how we can invoke our spiritual potential. And primarily it happens in the association with spiritually advanced practitioners. All right, so Kirtan. So we'll have little bit more of mantra meditation, since we are in the mantra house. It's unavoidable. So we'll do some chanting of Hare Krishna mantra together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, We still have a few more minutes. Shall we do more Kirtan? Or?
We have 10 more minutes.
Hmm?
Yeah, we have 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes? Okay. Those of you who are familiar with holy places in India, there is one special holy place which is called Rasayana, which is the birthplace of Srimati Radharani, her home. And this is the evening raga. Raga is special melody which is sang on the occasion of special time or season. And so this is the evening raga from Rasayana. And for those who know a little bit more about it, it's called Marba Raga. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Kirtan Yagi ki jai, Gaur Premanande. So, thank you all very much.
Let's give a big round of applause for Sagara.
You got initiated?
That is here.
Not yet.